Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is the Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book. This came out in February of last year, 2023. It's Local Man #1. Tim Seeley is the artist and writer on one of the stories in here, and Tony Fleeks is the artist on the main story. So I've got a lot to say here about Local Man. Um, really interesting book. Um, kind of a love letter to Image Comics of the 90s, Extreme Studios, Rob Liefeld, Eric Larson, Jim Valentino. I mean, it's just a love letter to all those comics that we grew up with, or at least that I grew up with. Um, Cover here is by Tim Seeley. The main character here that we're going to follow, his name is Crossjack. And on every issue, they've got a cover, a main cover, and then kind of a throwback image cover. So that's what we get here. We see Crossjack at the breakfast table here, looking at his own comic book. You can see the difference here. It's got Crossjack, Extra Image Presents, while on this it says Local Man. So like I said, there's two stories here. There's the main story, which is uh, looks like, modern style kind of indie comics, and then there's a backup story that is done in kind of a 90s image style. So always fun to read through these issues. They're up to issue 10 right now in this series, and every issue is like this, and it's a lot of fun. There's lots of little Easter eggs and homages to early Image as well, like this Images of Local Man, which is an homage to the Images of Shadowhawk. So, kind of like this looks like Prophet maybe, or somebody like that, like an homage to like a Prophet. But you can see Crossjack here. He's got like a shield. He's got the Rob Liefeld headpiece here. He kind of looks like Shaft or Shatterstar. Um, we'll get into it here. I guess we'll start with the Image homage comic here. So he says we're just jumping right into this, and they're literally jumping out of a plane. Which, how many times have you seen that shot in an Image comic of just the team jumping out of a plane? So this basically is like Youngblood. It's but they're called third gen. So they're taking out all these faceless bad guys, just like in a Youngblood comic. We get the names of all the characters here. This guy's name is Cutting Edge. It's kind of like Ripclaw, or the Wolverine of the group. Softcore. She had like industrial polymer accidentally spilled all over her and turned her into like stone skinned. Then we've got the Air Raider and Big Island and Neon and the Camo Crusader, who is, kind of just like the Cable of the group. He says, I'm the God-blessed Camo Crusader, chosen as the savior of Christian morality and the right to bear arms. So that's pretty funny. And he says, you might think that put me at odds with a pagan leftist like Neon, but we've only got eyes for each other, don't we, baby? Looking good out there, Crossjack. And she looks back to Crossjack. So that's a little hint at kind of the main storyline here, is what's going on here between Neon and Crossjack. So he goes, there, that's it, the AFEC engine. And then we get a bunch of bad guys, the Desolators, and they've actually gotten paid by the Faceless Hordes, is what she calls them. So I guess these are literally the Faceless Hordes. But, so we just get some loose plot here. They're trying to take down the AFEC engine, which we don't even know what that is. And they win the battle, and then Crossjack says, wait, what did we do here? Who'd we save? Does it matter? We won, and we looked cool doing it. Yeah, so I mean, kind of sums up what all of Image Comics was all about back in the day. Like, it really didn't matter what they were doing, who they're here to save, what the plot is. They looked cool doing it. So, and there's also this throwback to the old Spawn letters page here, where it's blah blah blah, and then we get kind of some of the previews of the upcoming Image comics, and these are actually the Image comics that are currently being printed too, which I think is pretty cool. You got Stray Dogs, Revival, Hack and Slash, Radiant Black, Savage Dragon, Chew. So, but now this is the main story here, and they go a little bit. There's more pages here to the main story. The backup stories are just like 5 or 10 pages or so. But it starts off here. We get Crossjack, and he's back into his hometown. Skirt. He's called a driver here to pick him up, like an Uber driver, and they recognize him as Crossjack, and they just tell him to F off. No one here likes Crossjack, basically. So he heads to his house. He's going to be living with his parents. We're not really sure where he's been or why he's back in town. But, his parents don't even like him. They've said, you've disgraced the family. They kind of poke fun at him throughout all this dialogue here. And he finds his old dog Pepper. He says, Jesus, is this dog invincible? How old is he? Wasn't he like 14 when I left? So, find out a little bit about his dog. I'm kind of guessing maybe his dog is like superpowered or immortal or something. We don't know yet. But his mom says, what about other super teams? What about the Brigade or Cyberforce? She wants him to join one of these teams. He says, Mom, I can't. I'm not even cyber. That's pretty funny. So we get a little flashback here of kind of maybe what's been going on. We find out that Crossjack basically had an affair with Neon, who was with the Camo Crusader, and everyone knows about it, and that's kind of the big secret that Crossjack's trying to keep hidden, but everyone knows. It's kind of ruined his reputation. So he goes to a bar, and of course people start messing with him right away. But he runs into one of his old girlfriends, Inga. And he looks her up on Facebook. She's married, she's got kids, she's got a business, so she's doing a lot better than he is. And then suddenly Crossjack's old arch nemesis, Hodag, comes looking for Crossjack. And Crossjack grabs a trash can lid and he fights off Hodag, because the shield is kind of like his weapon, and he can also throw darts and can't ever miss. He's kind of like Bullseye. I think he basically is like Shaft, from Youngblood. But they throw these guys out of the bar because they started a fight. So Inga takes Jack to her diner to get a sandwich, and they start catching up and everything, and suddenly Third Gen actually shows up here, and they're here to give Crossjack a contract termination, or a court summons, basically saying that his contract was terminated. He's not allowed to use any sort of shield-like objects anymore. It's against the copyright, which I think is pretty hilarious. If you've ever heard Liefeld tell the story about when he was drawing Captain America, and then he left Captain America to start a new title with The Fighting American, and Marvel sent him a cease and desist saying he couldn't use The Fighting American throwing a shield because that was Captain America's copyright. So I think that's kind of what this is a reference to, and I think that's pretty funny. So he tries to get Neon's attention, but she just ignores him, and Third Gen just leaves. And then we get Hodag getting taken to the police station. He gets put in jail. And the final pages here are Crossjack. He's just walking down the street here, and he hears some rustling. while Hodag is in jail at the same time and being assaulted by somebody. And he says, Pepper, what are you doing out here? Geez, maybe you really are invincible. So he finds his dog out here. For some reason, his dog is out here. And the dart that he threw actually hit this machine, this robot that's following him, it looks like. We're not really sure yet. But he says, you're lucky I just missed. Because I never miss anything. And then we get the final splash page here of Hodag just being strung up in his jail cell with the word special delivery written on here. So really interesting. This book is super fun, and if you're a fan of 90s Image comics, I highly, highly recommend this series. And thanks for clicking on the video. I've got like 20 other videos, comic book reviews. You should check those out on my channel if you haven't yet. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.